Well, I'd like to first just start by saying how excited we are for homecoming, for Maroon Effect. We started talking about it Sunday in the locker room. We got a good Wake Forest team coming in. Ton of respect for Coach Clawson. We've been friends a long time. He actually coached me at the University of Buffalo when I was a bad DB. He had his hands full, but has done a great job with their program, and he'll bring a good football team in here. But again, a sellout crowd, which we can't say enough about. We can't be more thankful to our fan base for that. Guys are excited to be at home, to play at home, an ACC opponent, and to show improvement. Again, there were good things from the ball game down in Tallahassee, and there were certainly things that that we had to get corrected Sunday and Monday. So, looking forward to the opportunity, and we'll go from there. Questions, please.
Raise your hand and we'll get you a wireless microphone. Andy? I know the depth chart we get is unofficial. There's no or between Kyron and Grant. Does that change your thinking at the quarterback spot right now?
Not necessarily. I mean, Kyron's the guy right now. I think he's playing pretty good. Not perfect certainly, but giving us a chance. And Grant's still kind of climbing out of this injury. He's much closer. I'm hoping he gets some team reps today. That's the way it sounds right now. And but it's unfortunate that this thing has taken as long as it has. But we'll see where Grant is, and keep bringing Pop along. But that's where it stands today.
Could Grant have played last week? I know Pop. It looked like
No.
in pregame so Pop would have been the second guy.
Yes.
And just in terms of the run defense, I know we've harped on this a lot this season. Halfway through the season at this point, it's still sort of the same persistent problems there. Have you had a defense where just haven't been able to solve the big run problem before, and anything you can draw from your past on that?
Yeah, you always do your studies each week. You look at your explosive plays, run and pass, and why they're happening. Explosive runs happen, when the ball gets outside or gets behind you. And generally, just like in the throw game, on the perimeter, if there's a misfit on the perimeter against a good back, it can go, it can get down the field on you. And, we didn't fit some things up in the boundary with some cracks, and, we didn't get a play spilled when we should have spilled. We didn't fit the crack right, with the corner and the safety. And when that happens against a good back out on the perimeter on the edge of your defense, it's never a good thing. And, so, again, I don't think when you look at every snap of run in that ball game, there's some good run fits and some good defense against the run. I think we were just under 4.0, maybe 3.8 or something without the explosive runs in there, those two plays. They're super impactful. They're super hurtful. Bad timing in the game, both of them. You fight and claw your way to get back in this thing. And, and to me, again, I know people are tired of hearing it. That's when I say when we're not the type of team that can go win, and score 50 and win 50-48. We're not the type of team to win 10-7. We're not the type of team to go block 2 kicks and return 2 kicks and win that way. We have to do well enough in each phase. We are truly that type of team. We got to play complementary ball, to earn the victory. That's who we are right now. So when you go out and you have a couple of those things happen, it makes it really difficult.
How close is Nasir Peoples to being 100%, and how much will he help that run defense?
Yeah, I don't know if he gets to 100%, coming back from this thing, but he's valuable in so many ways. Like I've said, he's smart. He's a good tackler, one of our best. He shores things up in that boundary area. He needs to continue to shake the rust and get back oiled up. I think as long as the week goes well, he's going to earn more snaps in practice. He's able to do that, which is going to be helpful for him, and then play more snaps in the game. We got to get there.
What have you liked about his mindset during this recovery of wanting to get back on the field as quickly as possible?
I'm not surprised at all. That's the type of young man he is. He's tough as nails, and he's ahead of the game. He got back sooner than expected, He's driven, he's determined, wants to see us win, wants to help. It's challenging when you got a couple of captains, that aren't out there each and every day with you. So it's great to have him back.
I know Andy brought up the run fit defense, but it seems like safeties, it's each week you're shuffling back there.
Yeah, feels like that.
With Stroman out for the first half, how do you fit the pieces in there to get to the second half?
Yeah, well, we're still, we have to figure out Jalen Jones' status. He didn't play again Saturday. That'll, be determined here early in the week if we can be able to count on Jalen. And then, Mansour going back and forth. He'll have to continue to practice that way. And we're still trying to bring Christian Williams along. He's a guy that's kind of had to bounce back and forth with some of the injuries. But, so we are kind of, moving parts there right now. But, hopefully Jalen Jones can be healthy, and obviously getting Nasir back, however many snaps it is beneficial to that group as well.
I know you told these guys after the game that you weren't sure if Bayshall was going to break that kick return. Looking back on film, how impressive was it? And what kind of boost, what kind of lift did that give you guys?
To cut it to 22-17 after the way, the first quarter went, it was awesome. And we've worked really hard at our return game, and we felt like it's had a chance. And, it was executed really, really well. It was a counter play that had some really nice blocks in it, and Bayshall did a great job setting it up. And then, when he had to turn it into fifth gear right there, he did. I think he felt like that guy was on his heels, and he got it the distance.
We've talked a lot about Bayshall's impact on the field. What's he like in the locker room? What's he like in the film room? What kind of guy is he? And have you seen him have impact in those ways?
He's easygoing. He's pretty serious about his business, but he's easygoing. He doesn't say a whole lot. He works. He learns it. He's accountable. I think he's well liked on our football team, and guys are pulling for him.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good.
I'm just kind of curious, with some of the pros that you did see against Florida State, how do you kind of build upon those wins that you did have and bring them into the weight game?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things, right? We do what's called team positive on Sundays. Win or lose, I'm going to show positive clips from offense, defense, and special teams to everybody because there's a lot of good things. And, you don't claw your way back in it and have a chance in the fourth without doing some good things. The message is how do we, play well, play to our capabilities more consistently, more often. So the thing we did this week was each side of the ball watched the first three series of the game as an entire unit. So Coach Marv took them through every play of the first three series, which there's 4 third and longs. There's a dropped interception. There's missed fits. That we are certainly have done better previously and are capable of doing those things again and do them later in the game. And then offensively, we had 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the game. So Coach Bowen took the entire unit through those plays and just showing them if we do this like we're coached, if we use our technique, if we play with fundamentals, we all see what this play could be, how this could look. And later in the game, it does. So, you just trying to reinforce the positives and the things we're doing well that, hey, we got to have it, out the gate and more consistently.
Back of the room, Eric. I know there were a lot of expectations at that tight end position before the season started. Nick goes down, but what can you say about those guys really stepping up at that position, and have you liked what you've seen there?
Yeah, I'm glad you bring it up. I think there's still a work in progress. It's big shoes to fill just from an experience and leadership standpoint. Nick was really a guy that could, he was solid in the run game, solid in the throw game. He was a well-rounded tight end, and he is a well-rounded tight end. But those other 3 guys, we're talking about getting Harry, getting his snap count up a little bit to help. But Daquan's improving in the run game, which was something that he's worked hard on. I think Benji's got to continue to get bigger and stronger. There's things that he does very well, and there's some things that he has to improve on. Same with Daquan, same with Harry. All 3 of those guys are just at a point in their development that, they're not exactly reaching their potential yet, but they're bringing some good things to the table, and I think they've got Coach Holt and the rest of the crew pretty excited about their future.
Looking at Clawson's bio here, he was not very old when he was your defensive backs coach in Buffalo. What do you remember from your time with him there? And did you, at that point, did you go, oh, this guy's head coaching material?
He was very detail-oriented. He was a great communicator, seemed very smart. So I wasn't surprised to see his career go as it did. We weren't together very long. He actually moved over to the other side of the ball when I was still at Buffalo, which was a credit to him and, just his coaching knowledge. And he does a great job on our league. He's one of the leaders of the head coaches in navigating the NCAA and the transfer portal and everything that's going on. He's a good spokesperson. He's done a lot for the head coaches in the ACC. But, he's a quality coach, quality person. I got a ton of respect for him.
You mentioned the long runs earlier. The red zone defense has struggled a bit this year, too. I think opponents are 14 for 14 with 11 touchdowns there. You mentioned Kelly dropping the interception the other day. What do you need in that red zone to kind of turn that thing around as well?
Yeah, you need a play like that. I mean, I think that's always big. We've been good in certain areas, but I think when you're in the red zone, it's a mindset first. But then, that's where the plays have to come. You need a minus yardage play early in the possession to give you a chance to get in behind the sticks down there. I think we got to be better there. And it does go back. You have to the run game down in the red zone. That you have to be really good there. You got to make them take the shots through the air, and we haven't done that enough right now. We got to be a little more stout, and again, we want to get bigger, we want to get stronger. We've got some good players, we need more of them. We're kind of a work in progress, but I think red zone it's a mindset first, and the guys understand that. We're going to put an emphasis on it this week against our offense and in scout team. Got to be better there. Got to force field goals. And then you got to block one.
You mentioned Clawson had his hand full with a bad DB when you were there. Is there any traits that you took from him as a coach that you've implemented as a coach yourself?
Yeah, I just, he was very professional and very detail-oriented. I remember that vividly. And over the course of my career and running into Dave and spending time with him, I mean, he's the ultimate professional. He's good for our game. He fights for our cause, and you just have a ton of respect for him. So, and then what he's done at Wake Forest, he's done a tremendous job. And, so one of those guys, he and Jeff Munkin were on the staff together at that time, right there next to each other, and just some good guys to be around as a young coach.
Looking ahead to Wake Forest, no, the slow mesh RPO isn't their entire offense, but is a unique aspect that Warren Ruggio has developed. How much does that test a defense's eyes because of that slow mesh, walking the line, ball up the line of scrimmage, and making sure the guys are in the right places to not get beat over the top?
Yeah, you got to be very disciplined. They are a sound group, and not just on offense. Their defense is a sound unit as well. But it just makes you have to have a little bit of patience, but also there's times and places where you need to attack the line of scrimmage and prevent them from taking the time they need. It's a challenging group. It's the first time I've kind of gone up against it, but certainly have looked at it over the years and talked about it with other defensive people. But, it's challenging. I'm going to tell you what, they only get in 2 or 3 formations. They keep it simple that way, and they're just very good at what they do. They don't do a lot, but they're efficient. I think they recruit to their scheme very well. The quarterback is scrappy. He's tough. He's a winner. He's got an accurate arm. He's got pretty good feet. He's a Virginia kid that won a bunch of games in high school here. They've got a nice-looking group.
Yeah, compared to Hartman, it looks like Griffiths is much more confident in running out of that slow mesh. How cognizant do you have to be of making sure there's a hat accounted for? And because with the way they block, they leave those gaps open for him to have alleys to get out of in case, the throw's not there or the run's not there.
Yeah, you have to account for him. Even when it looks like he's bottled up, he squirms his way out of there. You got to account for the quarterback just like you're accounting for the tailback. As long as he's still got that ball in the gut and he's got his hands on it, you have to have a defender, ready to take quarterback responsibility. And that'll be something we'll work on all week.
All right, two more, and then we'll go to Zoom. Let's go Joey and then Anthony.
Offensively, what do you think is going to be either the biggest challenge that you guys have to overcome, or what's something that you think that your offense can do successfully against this Wake Forest defense?
Yeah, I mean, I think the last couple of weeks our play selection's been better. We've mixed it up. We're making people defend the alleys a little bit better. Some of those alley throws are just like runs, right? If you complete them, if you throw the ball a little bit better, catch the ball a little bit better, you're gaining maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6. It's a positive run play is how we look at some of those things. But that spreads the defense out a little bit, gives us a better chance to run the ball inside, run the quarterback. We have to continue to build that, continue to grow in that area. I think, being able to get the ball down the field a little bit more, I think that's going to be important against this group. They're a solid, sound defense. I don't know that there's any one person that jumps out that's just a problem. With Florida State, there were a bunch of guys that you just, I think with Wake Forest they play so very well together, and there's just there's not a lot of weaknesses that way. I think anytime you can live in a scheme and a structure, and Coach Lambert's done a good job. At some point, the older guys are teaching the younger guys, and you get to a place where you get sound play, good technique, and that's how their unit plays. But I think like most times, especially for us right now, it's us just doing what we do better. When I look at Wake and the efficiency with they operate, I mean, we have to get there where we can consistently do what we do and do it well. We got to get there. And I think we're improving all the time. I really do. I think we're getting closer to it. Yep.
Brent, you talked about it being homecoming. I assume there will probably be some former players back in town. Is there a benefit to them being around, and what kind of impact can they have on your current team?
Yeah, we always want those guys back. It's awesome when they come back. Try and get them around the team, around our players, in the office. We want to roll out the orange and maroon carpet for that group. This place is more their place than it is mine. And, there's such a strong legacy here, particularly under Coach Beamer. Those guys coming back and talking about the championships and the wins and, the standards and the expectations, that's really healthy for our program. So it's exciting to think about them being back in town this weekend.
All right, we'll go to Zoom for a couple. On Zoom, please use the raise hand feature to ask questions for Coach Pry. We'll start with David Teal, please.
Brent, as someone who worked with the same head coach for a decade, what are the benefits of a long-time head coach coordinator relationship like Dave Clawson has with Warren Ruggiero?
Yeah, I think it's the model of efficiency that you get. You recognize and understand how you recruit to that system. I think that's a real positive. It doesn't necessarily have to be a 4 or 5 star guy. You know what you need to have the system work. I think they're doing a great job in that area. I think the quarterback's a great example. Maybe a guy that wasn't highly recruited but is a really good fit for what they do. I think the relationship, the trust that happens over time, there's no question, even though Dave is an offensive mind, that he's got a ton of trust in Coach Ruggiero and what he does, how he runs the offense, the decisions he makes. It's just a great working relationship. And I think it's an important aspect to them having confidence year in and year out offensively.
And last week, the D1 Council voted to narrow the transfer portal window from 60 to 45 days, and also to eliminate the initial 25-man counter for recruiting classes. What are your reactions to those?
Yeah, I mean, I think going from 45 to 30 is certainly, I think, a positive. You know, it was hard to navigate that for the players and the coaches as long as it went. You're talking about through the holidays and into the beginning of the semester. Very challenging. I think, put some players in some tough situations when that decision is out there that late, or that close to the beginning of second semester. So I think it's helpful that way. You got a better idea a little bit sooner of what your roster can look like for the spring. You still have the 15 days post-spring that you're going to have to, evaluate and work through to see where your roster is really going to end up. But I think it's a good move in the right direction. It helps us get a handle on it to a degree. And then your second question about the counters, I mean, you're still limited to your 85. I think taking the counters off helps certainly, but you're still limited to your 85 and getting where you need to get. So it's a good, with COVID and we had waived that for a couple of years, and so we're kind of used to working under that premise, but you're still bound to your 85.
Go to Hank next, please.
Hey, Brent. Obviously, accentuating the positive on Sundays has a significant purpose, but it seems like maybe I'm wrong. Are players more results oriented, and is it harder to keep them positive?
I don't think so. I think for us, we're doing enough good things, even in these losses, that they can see it for themselves. We're not trying to talk them into it. They can see the positive plays and the positive things that are present throughout the game at different times. So, you just got to make sure that you point those out and that you gain value from what they do well as much as you do from what they didn't do well. And like I told them, I mean, we've got to do better things as coaches. There's things we can do better throughout the week, things we can do better in game, just like our players. We're in this thing together, and we've all got work to do to keep improving this football team.
And obviously, fans have bought into the program and are coming out in force when you guys play at home. How much does that part of the experience kind of bolster everybody's feelings about where you're headed?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a giant compliment to everybody that's involved in this football program, in this university. There's so much loyalty and passion for Virginia Tech. It goes beyond Lane Stadium, but we're very proud and very appreciative and thankful. I think that's why, our players, a lot of them come here. They want that. This doesn't happen everywhere. I think everybody realizes that. This is special. And, there's nothing like going in Lane Stadium and playing well and garnering a victory in front of that group. So that's the plan this weekend. It's an awesome opportunity for our players and coaches.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Pry on Zoom? Okay, Travis.
All right, thanks, everybody.